Yeah, this is a really good one. So, like Simic Flash, Growth Spiral is one of the most important cards because getting to 4 mana, which is Night Pack Ambusher mana, is so important. Well, it looks like we might be playing either a Bant or a Simic deck. Don't think I want this land. Yeah, so we're probably up against Simic Flash. These are really interesting matches because so much is trying to not be the person that flinches first. Because if you lose that first counter war and the opponent resolves a really important permanent, you're kind of out of luck. Oh, it's actually just a ramp deck. Yeah, I'm going to counter the Cultivate. You can kind of think about Cultivate like a divination that puts a land into play for them. Especially if this might be a 3-color deck and they don't have their 3rd color of mana. I feel like that's a really strong thing to counter. Let's go ahead and Growth Spiral here while they're tapped out. Alright, and yeah, unfortunately we can't keep up a Brazen Borrower here. We'll just play these out tapped while we can. So, alright, Solemn is not that big of a deal. Oh, we've got our Sublime Epiphany. Maybe we'll counter the Solemn exiting the battlefield trigger. But yeah, hopefully we are able to resolve the Ambusher here. See if the opponent decides to tap out or not. It feels like they're not playing a lot of counter spells just because from what we've seen so far, they seem to be much more of a kind of tap out ramp deck. Alright, I'm going to attempt to ambush this Solemn Simulacrum, I think. Although the 2 damage doesn't really matter. So we'll wait and see. Make the opponent think a little bit more. Alright. Let's go ahead and get our Ambusher down now. Alright, and we'll see what kind of value we can get out of our Sublime Epiphany. So yeah, I don't really know. This might be a home brew from the opponent. It's just kind of like Simic Ramp up to Ugin, maybe. Alright, so we could choose to counter this. Can also let it resolve, counter the ability. Alright, I'm going to attempt to counter it. We'll return the Simulacrum here. And draw a card. Just because being able to get another Night Pack Ambusher right now, if this works, is pretty much game over. Having 2 of those cranking out multiple Wolf tokens each turn is very hard to beat. Now, one thing we do have to be careful of is that they are approaching Ugin mana. They're only 1 land away from that. So we've got to set it up that we're at least pushing through a bunch of damage and then trying to finish it off with the Brazen Borrowers. Opponent deep in the tank, thinking about something. Shark Typhoon is a nice way to recover from an Ugin board wipe as well. Thanks, Alt FX. So, this is interesting. They can double block the Ambusher. We could flash in another Ambusher to save it. Also just bounce something. Like the Shark token. I'm trying to think of what punishes us the least if they do in fact have an Ugin to follow up with. This is fine. I think we just bounce the shark token here, because that way we can follow up with another ambusher. Yeah, agreed, Eder. And there's no real point in us playing this out. Although, if we shock ourselves... Yeah, we could actually bounce something else and play out a borrower. That's another option that we could have open. So, I'll shock. Again, life total doesn't really matter when we're playing against Simic. Alright, this looks like Ugin. Oh, it's just a Krasis. Yeah, this is, I think, fine for us. We're gonna play out another Ambusher and then bounce this Krasis, most likely. Oh, we could just eliminate it and win on the spot. That works. What is the Golden Kappa? Do you win something if you get that? Alright, and definitely like negates here. A lot of non-creature spells on the other side. Don't love eliminate. Probably Aether Gust is just insane as well. So maybe something like this. Could also bring in Duresses. Try to pick off their ramp payoffs. Yeah, I'm gonna run it like this. Whoa! A normal flesh-colored face. Didn't know all of these existed. You all must spend a lot of time on Twitch to know all these secrets. Oh my gosh, I don't even know what's going on there. Holiday cookie. Love it. Alright, it's time to shock with the Watery Grave so that we have both Aether Gust and Growth Spiral up. We're a little bit flooded here. We're going to need to find a non-land spell in the next couple turns. That's just scary alt effects. Getting ready for Halloween with that emote combination. Alright, there's the Ambusher. Just what we're looking for. Oh, Becca knows it all too? I'm the only one. I've got to work on my emote game. I would appreciate it if they went for that line. We'll just grab an island here. Coupon rule. Yeah, I feel like maybe they're disconnected or something. Alright, they're back. They're highlighting stuff. Do we go for the Ambusher? Yeah, I'm gonna go for it. What do you have, opponent? As long as it's not Frilled Mystic exactly. Oh, just another Ambusher? That's great. We can Aether Gust theirs away. And ours will activate first. Definitely not attacking here. And the good news is, even if they have a way to counter the Aether Gust, they're casting a spell to do that, so they won't get the token. Alright, this is our moment. Sorry, I've got a kitten falling off my lap a little bit here. Oh wait, they just didn't cast a spell and let us put it on top, I see. So let's just attack with the 3/3 here. Yeah. The fact they're going to have double Ambusher is not great, not going to lie. Let's play Uro, see if we can find an answer. But yeah, this is a turn of events. Guess we do want to just play out the Ooze here and eat something. And then maybe we can bring Uro back to get us out of this one. Get rid of their fabled passage. Alright, we'll see one more draw step, and then we're going to go to game 3 here, because as it stands, we're just falling way behind double Nightback Ambusher. So they kind of mutated their deck into much more of a Simic Flash deck than they were in the first game, where they looked to be much more about the ramp. And that makes sense, because a ramp deck has a hard time resolving spells against a Flash deck, so trying to fight on a different axis makes sense. Alright, game 3 of this. And maybe we cut one Duress, and we didn't see an Uro, but I feel like they're playing Uro. Maybe a negate? Yeah, something like this. Alright, this is an easy keep though. You get to have perfect information in the beginning of the game, and lots of counter magic, plus something we can cycle to make a creature. Alright, let's find out what the opponent is on. Wow, alright. Maybe I should have cut more Duresses, so they're on Ambushers and a bunch of islands, basically. We can dispute the first one, potentially. I'm going to play out this island as a way to keep up some counter magic without being a giveaway by shocking for the breeding pool. Alright, they now have the mana to cast their Ambusher, so gotta be careful. Alright, another dispute is nice. Go ahead and play this out tapped. So we can try to time it so that we're disputing the... Alright, let's negate that. Disputing the 2 Ambushers and then maybe getting a Shark Typhoon going. I just want all the blue mana we can get our hands on. The tricky thing is we can never tap out in a way that allows them to play Ambusher. So like if I cycle this now, they just play Ambusher and we have no answer. And unfortunately, they can play one at the end of this turn and then play another one at the beginning of their turn. We don't have an answer for that. We're 1 mana shy of it with our current counter suite. They hold off for some reason, that would be cool, but doesn't look like they're going to. Yeah, we need to find a Brazen Borrower pretty quickly here. Don't know, maybe I just hold this up to try to cycle and ambush the Ambusher. See what happens here. But yeah, this, like I mentioned earlier, the matchup really does come down to who resolves the first Ambusher, so they're not falling for it. We can make a 5/5 Shark, and that might help us find... Oops. No, we can only make a 4/4 Shark. We could also Growth Spiral and try to find an answer. Like a Brazen Borrower. Casualties or Sublime Epiphany or something. Alright. This could work. Cycle into it now, get a 2/2. Also hard cast Shark Typhoon at some point. Doesn't feel like a 2/2 is particularly relevant. Alright, I think the plan is that we cycle the Shark Typhoon to make a huge shark. and then we copy that shark, bounce some stuff, and try to win that way. Seems like the most likely path to victory, even if that is still not super likely. Alright. So we've got 7 lands here. We can now make the 5/5. Alright, do they have something? Alright, That does shut down our shark pretty well. But it also means they didn't get a token there. So let's growth spiral, I think. Alright, found our own ambusher. Can resolve it now, and we'll have a mystical dispute backup. Yeah, I like it. And if we can ever Sublime Epiphany copying the Nightpack ambusher, we're in good shape. So I'm just hoping they don't have the ability to bounce the ambusher right now. This has been a weird matchup. I will trade with the Krasis. They're going to play another Krasis? I see them counting lands. Alright, so we can't quite Epiphany with Negate backup, but we can Epiphany with Mystical Dispute backup. The question is, do I just need to keep hitting land drops? I'm going to play this out. It feels like with things like Hydroid Krasis and multiple counter wars, we want all the land drops. Yeah. I could cycle it, but I'm going to almost certainly Sublime Epiphany at some point here, which means I'm not cycling it this turn for sure. I like this deck a lot. I think it's good. I don't know if it's in like the most optimal version just yet, but Sublime Epiphany has been incredible. So yeah, I would recommend playing it. I think we'll check. I don't know if Untapped records the metagame challenge. I don't think it does, but I think overall I'm something like 11-2 with it. So it's definitely performing well. Alright, so what we can try to do is counter this activation, bounce either a token or an ambusher, and then if they counter our Sublime Epiphany here, maybe that's not worth it because I'd like to have Negate backup. I was going to say they don't get the token at least, but having this resolve seems insane. And they could pay for a Mystical Dispute. Yeah, I'm going to hold off on that and wait until I can back it up with Negate here. This is the definition of excitement, the draw go. The best thing to hit would be like if they try to play out a Hydroid Krasis, thinking it's guaranteed value. We get to go all 5 modes on the Epiphany. This is a small advantage for them that they can scry. Excellent alt effects. I'm glad that at least the dual monitor can keep you entertained during the downswings in the excitement here. Alright, so I think I'm going to go for this now. We have Negate backup. And again, they are able to scry each turn. It just feels bad not to counter a spell with it, honestly. So yeah, I'll be even more patient. I really want to get some spell here. And I think this is better than the best thing they're doing, so even with the scries, it feels like we might be able to get some value. One thing I can do, actually, is if they scry again, bounce the Nightpack Ambusher, and then counter it on the way down. Yeah. It's tricky, for sure. I just want to get the most possible value out of this Sublime Epiphany. Opponent's thinking about something. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I got a lot of options here. I could let this resolve and the 8/8 could be what I bounce. Then I'm not bouncing the Ambusher. Yeah, because then I could counter this, bounce Ambusher, they draw a card. That's fine. Let's do it that way. So we're going to counter the Shark coming in, return their Ambusher, create a copy, and draw a card. And then we'll fight over them trying to resolve this again. Yeah, so there's two ways we can handle it, Eder. We could allow that to happen and then bounce it, or we can counter the activation. Alright, and at this point I might end up cycling this at some point, so I'll keep that in hand. And this feels like a blowout now. Now we've got two active Ambushers. We're going to try to fight over this Ambusher. Although I guess we can't fight that hard because they can easily pay for Mystical Dispute. But yeah, just the fact that we have two going and they only have one seems pretty insane. So I said I was going to cycle it, but that does leave us vulnerable to a bounce spell. So maybe I should have just played it out there. Oh, another Ambusher. Things are looking up. Yeah, being patient with that Epiphany really did pay off. And I'm fine even if they're trading 1 for 1 here, just because we're going to be cranking out more than they are. And I'll save this until it's safe to cycle it. But hopefully the third Ambusher pushes us over the edge. Alright, so let's do this in response, because if they fight over it, they don't get their Ambusher token. Not really. I mean, if they choose to put counters on it now, it can be, unless we find another Sublime Epiphany. But we're gonna get a ton of damage in on the very next turn here. So I don't think they can even afford to do that. They've got their own Sublime Epiphany. We're definitely gonna negate. Just making sure I have two other blue sources up. This is a wild one here. All right, let's dispute that. They have two disputes here. Well, I can't not fight this. The stack. Got there. That was a stack. Alright, so we just swing with everybody here. We can double block one of our guys, but it's double block there, block there. They're just dead. Yeah. Alright. That was an insane game, and we pulled it out. That was a heck of a stack.